Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryankaravavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Last time we just got up to date with everything that we have done so far. We got a glimpse of the main topics covered in the third chapter, and we are in the middle. We just concluded an important topic of the influence that one has, especially if one is a jnani, a shrestha, a leader, the influence that one has over who? Over the rest of the people, the quote unquote followers. Before, the word followers was a very simple word, Guru Shishya, that's all. Now followers means YouTube influencer, yeah, who has followers. Twitter, the person who goes viral on all these social media things, they also have followers. So we have to be careful in the usage, but it still goes to reiterate this fact that everybody has some kind of sphere of influence where people make this influence known and happen, and so therefore these followers are, the quote unquote followers um, are not talked about as strictly Guru Shishya, but also anybody that one influences. So we saw how Lord Krishna himself said that there is no reason for him to do anything. But still, if he were to sit without doing anything because he is a jnani, then everybody else will become very, very lazy. Yeah. Oh, this leader is not doing anything, I should also not do anything. There's a story told in the Shastra that there was one very lazy king who just was sleeping all the time and not, maybe he was depressed from modern standpoint, but this is an ancient story. Prozac wasn't invented and he was probably not properly diagnosed, and he was just in bed all day. The ministers used to run the kingdom. And then suddenly he had a creative idea for a change, but a very stupid idea. What was the creative idea? If I am not feeling like doing anything else, there must be many people in my kingdom who are just like me. Oh, poor things. He said, let us build a huge palace for all the people in the kingdom who don't want to do anything. And then a huge, it's the king's order, it's the monarchy, he is all in all. So they built this huge palace with, I think, 500 rooms. And so that everybody could, who did not feel like doing, and then the town crier went with a conch shell and said, whoever doesn't feel like doing anything, please come to and live freely, free food, free everything on the palace on top of the hill. And then first, because people were very suspicious, is this a trick? Is this a prison? What is this? Is this a test? So only few people went, but before you know it, the palace was filled with people who supposedly did not want to do anything, and everybody, and they were migrating at an alarming pace. Everybody moved into the palace. Nobody was there to open the shops. Nobody was there to sell the vegetables. No tradespeople, no service people, no sentries, no law keepers, no lawmakers, nothing. And then the ministers said, we should do something, but without telling the king. And so then what they did was they set fire to the, pretended to set fire to the palace so that anybody saw out of the window, they would see terrible flames coming. And so then all the people who were pretending to be lazy left in a hurry. They said, "Oh my God, fire!" One person said, "Fire!" And then everybody left in a hurry. And there was only 4 people left. One of them said, "I thought winter is coming, but I'm feeling a little hot. Is it summer?" And so saying, he turned and went to sleep. And the other one slowly opens his eyes. And what did he say? He said, "I thought it was night, but it looks like daytime because of the fire." It's so much light. So those 4 people were allowed to stay in the palace because they truly were useless. And the rest of the people were just driven away by the ministers. So you see, from this story illustrates exactly what this is all about. So we can't just because one is enlightened, one cannot just sit still. Oh, but what about all the Babas? This we always like to quote exceptions. The simply sitting Swami, the simply sitting Baba, and the simply sitting Mataji. So many things people say. She doesn't do anything, and he doesn't do anything. They're simply sitting. Well, there are 2 lifestyles for the jnani. One is called Madhukari, the flitting lifestyle. Madhukara means what? Bee. Yeah. Madhu Karoti. The one that makes honey. The honey maker lifestyle. Honey is not made without working hard. What does the bee have to do? Flit from flower to flower. It's a vritti. It's vritti here doesn't mean thought. Vritti here means lifestyle. Madhukari vritti. Madhukari vritti means the person does a little, the person of knowledge, the Swami, the Jnani will go to a few houses to eat and do a few things. And then the other one is Ajagari vritti. Ajagar is a python. The python doesn't go for bhiksha, okay? Yeah. The python gets its bhaksha in other ways. Simply sitting in one place, it will just, python and the other one alligator, it will open the mouth. Half the blessed animal is teeth, okay? It will open the mouth and sit and with a glazed look, thinking that it's dead or it's a museum piece, like you go in a museum and you see the alligator. You go near it to take a selfie and then, yeah. And you pay a big fee in the form of a limb which it has eaten already. So like this, the Ajagari vritti means whatever comes, the person takes, the person doesn't go anywhere, the person doesn't do anything. It's prarabdha. Jnani also has prarabdha. Because the prarabdha started from the standpoint of the onlooker, the prarabdha started before the body was even formed, and so the jnani also has the prarabdha. So there will be people like Pujya Swamiji who encouraged everybody, who went everywhere, did a lot of things, and then there will be people like some, Ramana Maharshi, Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi, who just sat in one place. Did not really do much, did not speak much. That's again because of the prarabdha and even sometimes the way in which the flow, takes the jnani. So, but generally what Lord Krishna advises, here the advice is not for jnanis. Who is the advice for? Arjuna. Is Arjuna a jnani? No, not yet. Why? Because there are 15 more chapters to go. Simple. If he was a jnani, the teaching would have stopped. Teaching would have concluded. So we have to conclude he is not a jnani. So then here, but there's no way to tell if somebody is a jnani or not a jnani. So the only way to tell is for the person herself, himself. And only one jnani can tell another jnani. So nobody knows whether Arjuna is a jnani or not. But we assume He is still asking questions, he is still engaged in the teaching and in the listening. So basically he is a jnani wannabe. So he is a wannabe jnani. Okay, he is wanting to be a jnani, he is there, he is sitting there, and so this is what is the situation. So for them the advice is to continue to do whatever they are doing, but for the sake of loka sangraha. This is a very important topic. From verses 25 to 29 is a very important topic of the conduct of the jnani vis-a-vis the other people, the masses. Either people here who are in the process of knowing, or the people who don't know V for Vedanta. They are just there doing their things. So how should the conduct of the jnani be? This is what is the subject matter of verses 25 to 29. Let us chant and take a look at what Adi Shankara has to say and what the verses themselves, what Bhagavan, Lord Krishna has to say. Okay, I think I lost this here. Here it is. सक्ताः कर्मण्य विद्वांसः यथा कुर्वन्ति भारत कुर्याद् विद्वांस्तथा सक्तः चिकीर्षुलोकसङ्ग्रहम् सक्ताः कर्मण्य विद्वांसः यथा कुर्वन्ति भारत कुर्याद् विद्वांस्तथा सक्तः चिकीर्षुलोकसङ्ग्रहम्. Lokasangraham. Sangraha is collection. Okay. Lokasangraha is not collecting the world or collecting the people in the world. That's not the idea. Lokasangraha means doing something for the sake of blessing the world, contributing in a certain way for the benefit of the people in the world. And it doesn't have to be something huge, it can be something small. So this is what is the advice given to Krishna. And let us look at the Anvaya. The poetry here makes the verb and the noun and the subject, object, and the everything go this way, that way. Let us look at the Anvaya. Anvaya means let us look at it in a prosaic form. Yatha avidvamsah, just as the avidvamsah means the unwise. Unwise means those who don't have Vedantic knowledge. Not that they are unwise because they didn't go to school. That's not the point. Okay? Yeah. Yatha vidvamsah, just as the unwise, karmani saktaha kurvanti he bharata. He bharata, yatha कर्मणि आसक्ताः कर्मणि सक्ताः विद्वांसः कर्म कुर्वन्ति. So that's the first line. Just as, yatha, karma kurvanti means karma we have to add. Yatha kurvanti, yatha karma kurvanti, just as they are engaged in action, just as they perform action. Who is the they? The unwise. Yeah. The people who don't have Vedanta, the people who have not studied the words of the Lord, the people who are still stuck to action. Saktaha, stuck. Nobody is stuck to action. What are they stuck to? Results of action. Yeah, bhogaya karma. The karma is for bhoga. Bhoga means what's that? The consumption of the results. Nobody does things just for the sake of doing karma. Nobody says, I want to do this. Why? In order to, just for the sake of doing it. It's like this, somebody who is cooking. You don't say to, somebody who is cooking, what are you doing? I am cooking. What are you cooking? Breakfast. Oh, that sounds wonderful. So afterwards, you'll eat? No. Oh, you're feeding a few people? As a vrata? No. Then what are you going to do afterwards? I am going to start cooking lunch. What are you going to do after that? I'll make some pakodas and have a snack, make a snack. Oh, you're going to eat the snack? No. What will you do after that? Cook dinner. Nobody does that. Cooking is for the sake of eating, not to just look at. Like sometimes, if you go into these Chinese restaurants, especially in the West, they have food, we should say, which is all artificial. They will have some rice and some tofu. Everything is gelled together. It just looks like a dish, and so you can just point and say, I want that, but it is not edible. But that's not the point. Bhogaya karma. So saktaha means here they are attached. With avidvamsaha, it goes with avidvamsaha. Avidvamsaha saktaha. So the avidvadidi, the non-knower of the Atma, the one who does not yet know that I am everything, I am of the nature of Ishvara, I am Bhagavan, I am non-separate from Bhagavan, the one who does not know is what? Stewing in this attachment to the results, saktaha, completely bound by the attachment to the results, just as they do karma, kuryat, may you do. May the wise person who vidvamsaha, vidvamsaha tatha, tatha, in the same manner, vidvamsaha kuryat, vidvan tatha kuryat. May the wise person vidvan also kuryat, may she or he do tatha, in the same manner. Oh, bound to the results of action? No, no, no. Asaktaha, opposite of sakta. Sakta means what? Hello, show me one sign of life. Yeah. What is sakta? Attached. Asakta? Non-attached, non-connected, unconnected to what? The results of action. May one do. Chikirshuhu means the one kartum ichuhu chikirshuhu. Kartum ichha chikirsha. Yeah, chikirsha kartum ichha. Kartum ichha means kartum. It starts with ka. And then how did cha come? It should be kikirsha. Why did it become chikirsha? There is a sutra for that. Yeah. So, because of that, the ka becomes cha, chikirsha. There is a cha attached there. So, chikirsha, kartum ichha, the desire to do. So, the desire to do is unvitiated by the desire to enjoy. Think of how much self-growth one has to happen. One has to undergo to even to attempt to do something that does not benefit one but benefits others. Nobody is ready to do that. Everybody is looking for what? Self-benefit. इसमें मुझे क्या मिलेगा? What will I get out of this? Somewhere. And even the most altruistic person who is into what is that, transforming the world, helping everybody, bringing everybody on the path of Sanatana Dharma, so many desires people have. And even if you ask them, why are you doing this? First they'll say, oh, the world is in shambles, I want to change the world. Doesn't matter. Let the world be in shambles. Why are you changing the world? Why are you a social activist? Why are you wanting to do this? If you ask them, they will say, because I can't stand the world this way. I want to see the world different. Why do you want to see the world different? Because I want this. So you see, there is an attachment there also. Even the most altruistic person has a sense of attachment. But here, what is Bhagavan telling us? Bhagavan is telling us to cultivate that this kind of an attitude where the action that is going to be performed or the actions that are going to be performed have two criteria. They fulfill two criteria. What are the criteria? Criterion number one, they are not oriented, one is not oriented towards the results. So the action which is not oriented towards the result, and the second criterion is that it benefits somebody else. Whatever results come, benefits somebody else. We can add one more criterion, and therefore the action that is performed is asakta. Asakta means devoid of anxiety and concern about the results. So if you're doing something for somebody else, in fact, some people might say that the anxiety will be even more because it's not for me. I want everything to go well for such and such a person. You don't. Really? But I do. No, no, you don't. Then why am I anxious? Because you want to look good. Simple. That's why you are anxious. You want to look good because you have undertaken this on somebody else's behalf. You don't want it to go bungle up and go awry, go wrong. And so therefore you are connected to this. You are more anxious than if you are doing something for yourself. So if you're cooking a dish for yourself, if it has a little more salt, you don't care. It's okay. Today it happened like that. But if you're cooking for 50 people, the anxiety comes. Part of the anxiety is you want the people to have a good time and but most of the anxiety is what? I want them to like my cooking. So liking my cooking is what? Liking me. ah. My cooking is me. More about that it will come in in the connected verses. So here a very tall order is being given. A very, very tall order, meaning suddenly from being somebody who is karmani sakta, the one who is attached to the results of action, the one who is a karma phala bhoga holic, the one who is only interested in the results of action. From being that kind of a swabhavika person, it is swabhavika means it is natural. Nobody does anything without wanting something in return. In fact, the returns make me want to do. It's always like the carrot on a stick. That's how they make the donkey run. And donkey will not walk. Donkey will not, horse is at least amenable to being trained. But to train a donkey, it's very difficult. So what do? You attach a stick this much, slightly out of reach, and put one carrot. But for the human being, what to do? Put one piece of carrot cake. Okay? Yeah. That's what. Make it cake. Yeah. And that will be bobbing at the end of the string, and then the person gallops. like the donkey, the person finally starts to run and do whatever. This is the orientation. So same thing, we all came from donkeys, monkeys, etc. That's how it is, and so that past samskara is not gone, or maybe this is just the trick of avidya, ignorance in the form of maya shakti, and so therefore one is deluded to just be totally connected, attached, or wanting the results of action, no matter how altruistic the actions may be. So then what to do? I have to convert myself into a person who is a vidwan. So you have to say, hurry up, self-knowledge, come, abide in me, abide as me. So even though it may not be immediately possible after studying verse 25, that starting tomorrow, everybody becomes very, very completely, exorcise the penchant for identifying with the results of action. Still, we know that is where we are headed. And we know how far we have to grow to go do that. How far we have to go to grow, to do to be like the jnanis, to act like the jnanis, who the Viveka Chudamani describes as Shanto Danto Nivasanti Santaha Vasantavallokahitam Charantaha Tirna Swayam Bhima Bhavarnavam Bhavan Lokanapi Anyanapi ahetuna tarayantah. There are people who quietly move about the world. The Viveka Chudamani says, what do? They are like spring. The spring does not announce. The cherry blossom trees do not send a notice and say, we are going to bloom next week. Photo up, come. And don't, it's not the pears that are blossoming. It's not the orange trees that are blossoming. It's us, the cherries. Nothing. Spring quietly comes, especially in northern climates where it snows, etc., and you just see the ground is frozen, and sometimes there is frost, snow, everything, and then suddenly everything just bursts forth. It's a riot of colors, it's a quiet revolution of colors, fragrances, allergies, everything. So, spring comes, bringing with it a lot of happiness. Even the person sneezing is happy. Finally, the winter is over. I just love this. It is fantastic. Give me more of this. So, like that, the jnanis are moving in the world, making it a better place quietly, without any regard to the results of action. Vasantavat, like even the spring season, lokahitam charantah, they are only blessing the world with their actions. Lokahitam means for the comfort of the people in the world they act. Tirnaha Swayam, they are themselves crossed over the Bhima Bhavarnavam, the horrible ocean of samsara, which we know. What is the ocean of samsara? Just a notion of samsara. We know that. It's our secret, okay? Yeah. Ocean is but an ocean. And that knowledge which makes the ocean into an ocean is called Vedanta. Is called Upanishad, is called Bhagavad Gita, is called Brahma Sutra. This is what this knowledge is. And so therefore, Tirnaha Swayam, they have themselves called the bluff of samsara and crossed, so to speak, crossed over this big oceanic notion, thinking that one is bound. Ahetuna anyanapi tarayantah. Ahetuna, with total compassion and without seeking anything in return, they help others to cross as well. So this is a very, very big graduation here. One is being asked to do. Arjuna is made to get off his sadness and his apathy towards fighting the war, by saying, you're not doing this for you. You're doing this for the sake of dharma. Look at those tyrants. They are Duryodhana, etc. They are tyrannizing the subjects. You are redeeming the subjects. It's not about your conflict or your love for these cousins and these uncles, etc. So this is how you have to perform. You have to learn to perform action from the standpoint of reducing and then totally eliminating what? Totally eliminating the sakti, asakti for karma phala. And Arjuna, see, Arjuna is addressed as many, many things. Kaunteya, Kunti Putra, Partha, Pritha. Pritha is another name for Draupadi. Kunti, Kunti, mother. So, whenever he behaves like a mama's boy, Kaunteya. Yeah. And sometimes, he thinks, and Lord Krishna can see this thinking clearly. He thinks he's very mighty. Jahi Shatrum Mahabaho, oh you mighty armed one. So your arms are very mighty, you have what, rippling deltoids and biceps and triceps and everything, looking like some model for a gym, the gym will have an advertisement of this person, rippling muscles. The t-shirt is getting torn because of the muscles are coming out of the t-shirt. This kind of a person with this kind of a body you may be. Oh, you mighty armed one, Jahi Shatrum, conquer the enemies, kill the enemies. What? That are sitting here. Your Kama Rupam Durasadam. The enemy that is very difficult to conquer in the form of Kama, desire. So that your arms are very great at shooting the arrows for the outer enemies, but this is like a trolling. So we learnt how to troll from Lord Krishna himself. Yes. And here he says Bharata. Bharata has many meanings. One is Bharatasya apatyam. Puman. So Bharata, the scion of the Bharata dynasty. Bharata, simple, vyutpatti based meaning. But then there is another very nice meaning, because Sanskrit is Sanskrit. You can just, derive many, many things. So this is the common meaning. Rudhi artha means this is derivative as well as the customary meaning. But if you want to go deeper, we can look at the word Bharata as acronyms. Bha, Brahma Vidya. Brahma Vidya is called Bha. Why is it called Bha? Because it's shining. It's about the self-shining self, and it is about how the self-shining self is the limitless truth of the whole of oneself, of the Jagat, of Ishvara. It's all this Satchidananda self. This is Bha is called Brahma Vidya, that which makes you understand the nature of this self-evident self. Bha. Tasmin, in this Brahma Vidya, Ramate, the one who revels. Rata, the one who has reveled. Bharata. Rata is the past participle of Ram. Not R-U-M, okay? Yeah, don't let the mind go to such places, yes. So, Ram to revel. Sanskrit Ram, not English Ram. Okay, Ram to revel, and the one who revels is called Bharata. Very nice. So it's a blessing word here. It's not just calling him, it's a blessing him with this ability to abide in the knowledge, and very beautiful. So, Yasmin Brahma Vidyam, Yasmin Ramante. So those who revel in this is called Bharata. So he is saying, even though the one who has this knowledge is called Vidwan, and the one who doesn't have the knowledge is called Avidwan, really here, supposing even though somebody is not a Vidwan, somebody doesn't have this knowledge fully yet. Why? Because they are only in the middle of chapter 3. Okay, simple reason. So 15 more chapters are there to go. They don't have the full knowledge yet. But the human mind is a very tricky thing. What does it say? I am Jnani. You already know. Yeah. This is a Maha delusion, is it not? Yeah. So then I already know. I think I already know. Why? Because I attended a weekend camp on Vedanta. A mini retreat on Bhagavad Gita I attended. Yay! I know. Supposing I'm thinking like that, then this verse will go to show how far I have to go. And so, supposing I'm thinking like that, if I think I already know, then Bhagavan says, correct your way in which you conduct yourself in the world, correct that to reflect this. You think you know, so act as though you know. Your actions are not in keeping with your thoughts, with what you know of yourself. And this is how, in fact, the teaching of the Bhagavad Gita begins. So, you talk like a Pandit, but you don't have the demeanor of a Pandit. This is what he tells. Ashocyan anvashocastvam. You are grieving over that which is not to be grieved. Pragyavadamshcha bhashase, but still you talk all these highfalutin talk. Same problem here also. Yes, I am Vidwan, while not being Vidwan. So even if some people are like that, if some people are in denial, that doesn't matter. At this verse is like a wake-up call to see how far one has to go. And then, doesn't matter, even if you think you're a Vidwan, start acting like one. Start acting like one, and so this is the so do it from the standpoint of what is that, from the standpoint of not being a karma phala hog. Meaning what? So supposing I am not a Vidwan, how will this verse work for me? I have to ask this question. It will help me to go back to the basics of Karma Yoga. What are the basics of Karma Yoga? The basics of Karma Yoga is to detach or disconnect the phala, the results of action, from the action itself, and use the action for antahkarana shuddhi. What is antahkarana shuddhi? The cleansing of the mind, of the heart, of strong preferences and prejudices that hold one and direct all of one's actions. So to disconnect the action from the tyrants, the dual tyrants called raga and dvesha, strong preferences and prejudices, I learn to act, I continue to act, but then I say, let the action help my growth. I'm not doing it for the sake of the karma phala, results of action. What am I doing it for? Self-growth. This is how I grow. This is what I do, this is how I grow. And so this is the whole idea here. The idea is to grow from the place of not attaching to the results of action, and then when I disconnect the ahankara from the results of action and instead say I'm doing this for my self growth, then the results of action do not matter. Let it be favorable, let it be unfavorable. If it's unfavorable and I'm disappointed, what do? I just say, okay, let me look into the depths of this disappointment. Why am I having this great disappointment? Why was I so attached to that result of this action? So I look into myself instead of fighting for something I could not get. And that means what? The next thing is I learn to receive the results of action from the standpoint of prasada buddhi. Prasada buddhi means glad acceptance. Maybe we should not use the word glad immediately. Acceptance is okay. You can say prasada, cry. But it's still prasada. Okay. So that all this comes here. So if I'm not a Vidwan, I still should do this. I can be on the path of being a Vidwan by understanding this, and this as a very important practice for preparing to receive this knowledge in my life. So kuryad Vidwan tatha asaktah chikirshu, desiring to help the people. Bhashya. Very small bhashya here. Saktaha karmani asya karmanah phalam mama bhavishyati iti kechid avidvamsaha yatha kurvanti bharata. So saktaha karmani. Karmani has to be supplied, as I said. So the ones who are engaged in action, performing actions, engaged means what? Fully obsessed with action. And why are they obsessed with action? Because asya karmanah phalam mama bhavishyati. The phala, the result of this karma will accrue to me. Iti kechid avidvamsah. Kechid means a few who non-knowers of the Atma. This is just how they perform, like the masses in the world. How do the masses in the world perform action? Completely unmindful of anything. I want this, I have to get this, even at the cost of you. If you are standing in the way, shoo. Okay, that's not the sign of a mumukshu. Okay, by the way. So, a mumukshu does not shoo anybody, from whatever they are doing. But here, the person is not yet a mumukshu. The person says, shoo, get out of my way. If you don't get off the way, what will I do? I will find other ways to eliminate the competition. So somebody comes and asks, what time is the interview? Ah, this person is thinking of going. Oh, oh, it's day after tomorrow. Actually, when is it? Tomorrow. Yeah. People do this even in during this in America. They're having elections, so then they will say election. The real date of the election in America is November 5th. So they will put signs for in rural areas and areas where people don't know that much and they are not so engaged politically. Please vote on November 6th. They will put a sign like that. So like this, eliminating the competition. So one resorts to adharmic actions. And so this is how the regular people do it. But you, who is a karma yogi, if not a jnani, have to think differently and have to orient your life differently. And if you orient your life for self-growth, then all actions start to look different. So that's what he says. Asya karmanaha phalam mama bhavishyati. This will be accrue to me alone. This is how avidvamsaha yatha kurvanti he bharata. Kuryat Vidwan. May the wise person who is Vidwan Atmavit, not Vidwan as in music Vidwan, no, dance Vidwan, no, Atmavit, the one who knows the Atma, Tatha Asaktah San. Being is the knower of the self should act without having a penchant for the or obsession or a addiction to the result of action. Tadvat kimartham karoti tat shrinu. Then what's the purpose of this action? Listen. Chikirshuhu kartum ichchuhu. Loka sangraham. Loka sangraham means the person of the person who is wanting to just do good for the world, even though it may not benefit her or him. So then, introducing the next verse, Adi Shankara says, Evam lokasangraham chikirshoho na mama atmavidah kartavyam asti anyasya va lokasangraham muktva tatah tasya atmavidah idam upadishyate. So, the next verses, Adi Shankara says, is for the Atmavit. It's not for the person, is either for the person of knowledge or for the person who is actively seeking the knowledge. I will add that to what he says. Then he says, Evam, in this manner, lokasangraham chikirshoho. So, for the person who is desiring to do good for the world, so what do they think? Na mama atmavidah, not for me who is the atmavid, kartavyam asti. For me, there is no duty. Anyasyava, if there are other atmavits also, there is no duty. For the person of self-knowledge, there is nothing they have to do. Other than what so for the so there is nothing to perform. Lokasangraham muktva means accept. Here muktva doesn't mean moksha. Muktva means saving that. Saving lokasangraha means other than doing something good for the well-being of the world, there are no duties. Tataha tasya atmavidah idam upadishyate. Such a knower of the self, or the one who is training oneself to be the knower of the self, is instructed as follows. How? न बुद्धिभेदं जनयेत् अज्ञानां कर्मसङ्गिनां जोषयेत् सर्वकर्माणि विद्वान् युक्तः समाचरन् न बुद्धिभेदं जनयेत् अज्ञानां कर्मसङ्गिनां जोषयेत् सर्वकर्माणि विद्वान् युक्तः समाचरन्. So, na buddhi bhedam janayet. Do not give rise. Janayet means don't give birth. Don't give birth means what? To buddhi bheda. Buddhi bheda means disturbance in the thinking, in the commitment. For who? Ajnana. People who don't know yet Vedanta. And as a result of what are they? Karma sanginam. They are attached to actions. They are addicted to action. Why? Because they don't know the self. So if you don't know the self, what is the connection between being addicted to action and not knowing the self? If you don't know the self, what will happen? There will be lots of desires. Because I don't know that I am not a desiring person. That is moksha. That is the knowledge. That the desiring person is a spoof that is as though superimposed on the I that is totally free of desires, this I don't know. So the ahankara, the I notion, identifies with who? The desiring idiot. Okay. And then I consider myself the desirer. The desirer is born within me because I am confronted with a gamut of desires, very strong desires about which I don't even know what to do. They suddenly seem to come and they ransack my shraddha, they ransack my bhakti, they ransack even the jnanam. The fledgling small jnanams, they ransack. And so therefore, this kind of a force of the desire, elsewhere Lord says, haranti prasabham manaha. They kidnap the resolve in the mind as though by force. So these kinds of desires most of the people have, and then so there is a there is a shrinkhala, there is a chain of events that happens. First is they don't know the truth of themselves. So therefore, what do people do? They assume the worst about themselves, wrong notions about the I come because the right understanding is not there. I am an idiot, I am not good enough, I am not rich enough, I am not famous enough, I am not lovable enough. These thoughts come, and in a frantic way to overcome these thoughts which one takes to be the reality, there is the desire, there is a whole gamut of desires to become more lovable, to become more approvable, to become more famous, to become more acceptable, to become more rich, to become more secure. In this addiction to becoming, the karma is a very important component. How do I become something? By engaging in action. Because I assume I'm not, so I have to become. And this becoming life, which is called samsara, really is very unbecoming. But still, nonetheless, here there is an addiction to karma. So you see avidya and then anyatha vidya, meaning first I don't know what I am. I come to the worst conclusions about myself. Step number 2. Step number 3. Therefore, in order to make myself acceptable to myself and others, I unleash a series of actions. So really the desire is not for fame. The desire is not for security. The desire is not for money. The desire is for self-approval. Really. And what does Vedanta say? The self is already approvable. You just have to understand it. So you see, somehow the person has gone off kilter. Instead of, going straight away to understand, it's much easier to understand I am approvable, rather than to forget that and not see that and go all round and roundabout way to gain some approval which is not even necessary. But this is what everybody in the world other than the few blessed souls who are able to understand this knowledge. This is how everybody in the world is completely connected to. They are connected to action. They become the hogs of results of action. They are karmaholic and then they are karmaphalaholic. Really, it's nothing other than addiction, like alcoholic addiction. So this addiction is very, very detrimental to self-growth and to one's life, and this is how everybody is. And the jnani lives among not other jnanis, even though they may wish to do that. Why? Because other jnanis are few and far between. There may be one jnani in Sweden and the other one somewhere in India, somewhere, and they are not, and they are not really craving each other's company. They are just happy in themselves. So they are surrounded by who? Ajnanis. So if the jnani told all the people who are going a certain way and who are looking at the jnani and wondering what is wrong with this fellow, doesn't want to go anywhere, doesn't want to do anything, simply sitting. People wonder, what's wrong with you? So many times, they'll say, we are going to Badrinath, come with us. No. Why? What's wrong with you? Everybody wants to go. I don't want to go. So like this, this thing, what is that? Pujya Swamiji would say, I don't want to go. What's wrong with you, Swamiji? Why don't you want to go? I don't want to go. Yeah. People don't understand. Because everybody wants to go. And everybody is wanting something or the other. So then, Pujya Swamiji would have so many invitations. Come. No. Come to, what is that called? Manasarovar. No, I don't think so. So then, what happens here is that for the jnani, this won't be for the jnanis themselves, but for the jnani wannabe, which is the stage of Arjuna and everybody else, there is this tendency to say, first get into the Vivekananda pose without being Vivekananda Swamiji. Okay, yeah, and then look around and say what? I am a jnani, not you. And then go around distributing knowledge like prasada. Okay? Yeah. You go to the temple, some prasada is there, you want to share it with everybody. Here, this knowledge you suddenly got, and then you're very excited. And what do you want to do? Share it with everybody. And then you tell the person who is working night and day for whatever things. You know what? You should get this knowledge. Why are you working? Stop doing what you're doing. Stop. No need for all this. You should just get this knowledge. That's all you need. And then you drag the person into the Vedanta scenario. You take them into a satsang. You force them to enroll in Gita home study. and then and then you make them sit there. What will happen? They will listen because they love you. And then they will listen for some time. They will say, oh, okay, I shouldn't do action. This is all about akartritvam. I'm learning non-doership and everything. And so then what happens? They become ubhaya bhrashta. Ubhaya bhrashta means neither here nor there. Before, at least they were working. Correct? At least they were doing certain things. At least they were contributing to the community, to the nation, to the family. If nothing else, they were contributing to take care of their family. But then what? What did you make them do? You make them leave their job. And then what? They're not that interested in Vedanta either. This is a mahapapa according to to this verse number 26 in chapter 3. Na buddhi bhedam janayet. Don't disturb the people. Let them do whatever they are doing. Who asked you for your knowledge? Keep your knowledge to yourself. Enjoy it. And when they seriously seek, you can teach them. You don't have the right to go about in the world disturbing people's faith. People's faith means people's not religion here, people's commitment. Somebody is committed to doing, somebody is committed to gaining this, gaining that, doing this, doing that, becoming famous, getting more degrees and getting more pedigrees. All these things people are very committed to. And please do not disturb their commitment. And instead, what you should do, not only should you not disturb their commitment, you should encourage them. Joshayet, from Jush, to be delighted. Joshayet, encourage them delightedly. Oh, you went 3 times to Mansarovar? Fantastic! You don't want to go? That's different. That's different. You're a nerd. Okay, you don't want to go anywhere. You don't want to be around people. You keep that to yourself. Somebody says, I have taken a vow to do this parikrama, means this circling of the, what is that called? The mountain, the Parvata, the mountain, Kailash Parvata. And then, either by foot or by helicopter, doesn't matter. I have taken a vow to do that. Yes. Shubham astu. May you be successful. Oh, you went 3 times, clap, clap, clap. Honor them. Put a shawl on them. You're not being, what is that, inauthentic here. Authentically you are doing this. You are truly and deeply happy for them. Why? Because it is ironically, paradoxically, through action that one becomes non-action, a non-actor. So, through what kind of action? Through the right actions, done in the right time, in the right place, according to dharma. Joshayet, encourage them to do this kind of action. And if they say, I don't want to be part of Vedanta, doesn't matter. Keep working, keep doing. One day you will understand this. One day will come where you yourself will deliver yourself to Vedanta. In which lifetime we don't know, but still it will come. Doesn't matter. Because what's this life for anyway, other than to prepare for this knowledge? We have all the time in the world. That's why in the Hindu Dharma there is no bucket list. Bucket list means before I kick the bucket, I have to go here, go there. That's why it's called bucket list. Kick the bucket is a euphemistic way of saying die. So before I die, I want to go here. I want this kind of an experience. I want to go there. I want to have this. I want to have that. Bucket list. And then what happens because of this bucket list? Then there is this anxiety. I have to fulfill everything right now. I have to do this now. In the Hindu Dharma, it's not there. We just say better luck next time. May you have the kind of life, may you have the kind of, conducive life to your desires in the next time. No problem, nothing at all. So, therefore, you encourage people to do what they are doing, direct them towards dharma. That's all your job is as a jnani. Na buddhi bhedam janayet. Do not disturb their whatever understanding they have. Because even if they are studying Vedanta, they may say, I'm not coming to the next set of classes because I have to go here, do this, do that. Tathastu. Go do that. Don't say, oh, you should attend the classes. What are you doing here? Well, go. Yeah. This is all about giving freedom for the person to grow rather than micromanaging other people's growth. So basically what should the Vidwan do? Mind their own business. This is the idea. More we'll see next week. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Namaste to everyone. Happy day, happy night, happy life. Nice to see all of you. Om Namah Shivaya.
Happy Diwali, Samaniji.
Yes, happy Deepavali.
Yes.
Yes.
Happy
Yes,
Diwali.
yes, yes. Happy Deepavali. May your life be filled with the light of knowledge. Yes.
Thank you
Happy
so much for your
Deepavali,
grace and
Swamiji.
blessing.
Happy Deepavali. Happy
Happy
Deepavali to
Diwali.
all.
Deepavali.
Yes.
Very
Yes,
much.
yes.
Thank you so much, Swamiji.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
you. Take
Swamiji.
care.
Thank you so much.
Take care. Take care.
Happy
Om.
Deepavali.
Om. Om. Happy Deepavali to all. Om Namah Shivaya.